Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Darren. I hope you're safe and well and having a good stitchy week. So today I'm going to do a stitch with me on this one. Stitching Just Designs piece, Tiger monochrome. And this one is on 25 count Lugana, dyed by Kelly from Kel Stitches. And this is my monthly project. So at the moment on this piece, we have done 4,192 stitches out of 13,080. So, what? Just under 8,888 stitches left to go. So we're at 32.05%. Now, hoping you can see this okay. Well, the shadow here is from my stand. I don't know if I can get rid of it or not. Maybe if I'll open the blind a bit, it might fade the shadow. And we'll see what we can get done on this one. Keep getting it wrapped around. There we go. Right. Now we can get started. So yeah, so it's been a couple of weeks now since I've done a stitch with me. So I'm going to say lots have happened, but it probably hasn't. So we'll start with work update. Work's getting really busy. We've had a really big order come in. Got a hair. No. Yeah, we've had a really big order come in, which is for down in Sydney. So the company that's down there, well, they've got a company in Queensland as well. So we've been doing it for both of them. So they've ordered a load of stuff for the Queensland site and a load of stuff for the Sydney site. So a bit rushed off our feet at the moment trying to get their order complete, because they didn't just do a small order. They ordered like 100 odd packs. Well, no. For the Sydney office they ordered about 200 packs I think, and then for the Queensland office they ordered about 100. So yeah, we've got a fair bit of packs to do, as well as trying to get other people's orders done as well. So that's been interesting. And the lad who I normally work with, he was off for a week because, I don't know if I mentioned it before, he's going on to dialysis. So he's doing the at-home dialysis, so they've actually put some kind of tube or something into his stomach, and then he has to run this stuff through. I don't know what it is. So I knew he was going to be off for 3 days because he had to have training on how he has to do it all at home and everything. So I was meant to be off on the typical, get a knot. He was meant to be off on the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then he was supposedly sick Monday, Tuesday, so he had the whole week off. I said he only had the Monday off because it was the hottest day we've had for a long time. It was like 38 degrees at work. It was really hot. And then the day after we had rain. So I said he only took those 2 days off because one, he didn't want to work in the heat, and one, he didn't want to get wet. So I had to have two of the newish guys with me to get what we need to get done. So that was interesting. And then he came back the following week. So he just has to have I don't think he does now. He used to have every Friday off to go and get his dressings and that changed, but I don't think then he needs to now because they showed him how to do his own dressings. So hopefully now he won't need to take as much time off, which is good because now it's my turn. So the boss who normally loads the trucks and that, he's been off this week. So he had to train me up on how to use the system, so I could delete packs that we worked on, obviously for the stock take, and then import the packs that we created onto the system. So the new boss told me to ask him to train me, and obviously he wasn't in a very good, I don't think he was in a very good mood the day I asked him. And he says, I don't know why they need me to train you for. He says, I've already trained one of the other guys. He says, why can't they just let him do it? And I was like, you trained him like 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. And he only did it for a couple of days while he was off last time, and he's never done it since. So I was like, whatever. Anyway, I asked the lad, I says, you got trained up to use the system? He went, yeah. I says, can you remember how to do it? He went, no. He says, it was like 4 years ago. He says, how am I going to remember? I says, I don't know. I said, but apparently according to the boss, he said, you should be doing it. He says, you'd have to retrain me again. He says, I can't remember how to do it. Well, I didn't think you would do. So, anyway, I didn't think anything else of it. And then it was, I think last Friday, and he says to me, he says, come on, I'll show you how to do this system. I was like, okay then. He says, well, you've got 10 minutes. He says, I'll show you how to delete the packs off the system. That's radio. So he showed me how to do that, and it was the easiest thing I've ever done in my life. I was like, really? What's so hard about this? He's going, oh, this part's the easy part. He says, the adding the packs onto the system that you've generated is going to be a bit harder. I was like, okay. Anyway, I didn't realise he was going to be off from like Tuesday this week. So on Monday he says, right, he says, come on, he says, I need to show you how to put the packs that we've generated onto the system. I was like, okay. He says, this is a bit more harder than normal. I was like, okay. So show me how to do that one. I was like, it's not that hard, it's pretty easy. Put the pack number in, put how many pieces are in it. Allocate it a code. That was easy enough. I haven't got time to show you how to input the ones that we receive from the trucks. He says, so the main boss will have to do that one. I was like, okay. So yeah, so he was off from Tuesday till, well, he's not back at work till Monday. So I've been doing all his work, so which was easy enough. I don't know if they want me to keep doing it or not. I have no idea. Probably not. I'll probably never have to do it again now for another like 2 years or whatever. It's easy enough anyway. Shane almost walked out this week as well. So the old boss, he's been having a go at Shane for since Friday last week. Everything Shane did, it was wrong. We had a truck coming to pick up an order for up in Townsville. So both trucks were in one yard because the other truck was getting loaded in the other yard. And then the boss had arranged for, I don't know if it was the guy who picks up our sawdust or if it was the guy who picks up our scrap wood, to come and pick stuff up. And he needed Shane to move his truck. So Shane checked with one of the other bosses to see if he could put his truck over the other side, and he said no because he don't know which area he needs yet. So is that right? So I told the other boss, well, the old boss, and he was like, "Well, just move your truck." He went, "Well, where do you want me to put it? There's nowhere to put it." I was like, "I don't effing care." He said, "Just move the effing truck. I need it out of the way." I was like, "Well, where do you expect him to put it?" There was nowhere literally for him to move. So that Pete shaking off a little bit, and then on Monday he asked Shane to tie down his truck. So he got some straps out, and then he was having a go at Shane because he got the wrong straps out. I was like, "I'm pretty sure a strap's just a strap." But yeah, no, they were the wrong straps, and he was having a go at Shane for that. And then on Tuesday, Shane was helping out one of the other guys, and his sister needed a pack, and her sister can't drive the fork. So Shane was getting the pack, and then the old boss come in. He's like, "Why are you on the fork? Why are you getting a pack? We need this pack done," and all this. And he was on the right go at Shane. I was like, "What difference does it make? Because someone's got to stop to get Shane's sister a pack." So Shane was like, "That's it, I've had enough." He said, I'm quitting." He said, "I'm going to walk." Anyway, the new owner come in, which is the old boss's son. I said to him, "You might want to have a word with Shane." He went, "Why?" I said, "Because he's getting ready for walking." I said, "He's had enough of your dad." He says, "Oh, what's he done now?" So I was telling him. So, anyway, so alright, leave it with me. So he went and found his dad up and gave his dad a load of abuse. He says, "You can't be talking to people like that." He says, "I don't care who you are." He says, "Oh, what?" But I only found out that the old boss, his dad, has got ADHD. And apparently he doesn't realise that he's having a go at people or something like that. I don't know. He says, "I don't care." He says, "What you like." He says, "If you can't cope with it," he says, "chill out before you speak to people." He says, "Then I think it's time you moved on." So he's trying his hardest to get his dad to retire, but it's not working. So he come out and said, "I've had a word with him." He says, "Oh, this up." I was like, "Right, yeah." Now normally his dad phones Shane up about 6 times a day. And he never phoned him up at all on that day. And then the next day he was nice as pie. It was like he'd never even said anything to Shane. Apparently that's part of his ADHD. He says his son says he may have some other undisclosed things. He says, "I don't know." He says, "But yeah." But I say the old boss even had a go at me the other day because he was on the fork yet again, and I needed our sawdust bag taken out. So he started swearing at me and he said, "Use the other fork," and blah 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 blah. So I had to go back. So the fork that he was on was the one that most of us use, and there's another fork which is a big fork, which is what you're meant to use when you're loading and unloading a truck. And he's had to go many people for using the small fork for loading and unloading a truck. So I had to go at him. I says, "Well, you shouldn't even be on that fork anyway." I says, "You should be on the big fork." I says, "You're loading trucks up." I says, "As you keep moaning about people using the wrong fork for loading the trucks up." I says, "So you shouldn't even be on there anyway." He says, "So how about you get off that fork and you get on the big fork?" So he did. Oh, there's a first. She got off the fork and used the correct one. Then yesterday he was loading up. I was getting stuff ready for loading up the truck that was turning up for taking out one part of the order to Sydney. He was getting stuff out, and all of a sudden we heard this almighty bang. I was like, "Oh, what's he done?" Yeah, he'd knocked 3 packs off. They were everywhere. He says, I won't mind. He says, but I clipped them. He says, when I was getting the first one out. He says, so you think I'd realise? He says, and nah. He says, I did exactly the same thing taking the next out. I didn't know one person would have moved to the packs first before trying to get another one out. So yeah, he destroyed 3 packs. So then we had to sort all that out. And then the truck turned up for being loaded for Sydney. So he loaded that up. And just as that truck was about to leave, there was another almighty bang. I was like, oh no. And it was one of the other blokes. He dropped a pack. He'd not picked it up properly with a fork. And that one was everywhere. And they always seem to drop them around here where I'm working. And I was like, oh, come on. So I had to sort out that one. I was like, what is it with you people? Why can't you use the fork properly? So we've still not had any of the new building started yet. I was actually speaking with HR. And I said, when is this actually starting? I said, because it should have started months ago. She says, oh, it's the council. She says, they're delaying everything. Because they've got to wait for council approval or something. So they're waiting on the council to give them the green light so they can start doing everything. So it'll get started at some point. And then I don't know if I've done a video since, but where I work, because I'm in the outside bit, we have it's like a parasol thing, like what you see in the cafes, the outside umbrellas. We have one of those to keep me out of the sun and to keep the rain off me when it's raining. Well, the old boss broke it. He caught it with the fork and just carried on driving, pulled it with him and snapped like the brake mechanism on it. So I went up to see the new boss. I said, you know, you said we're getting this roof extension bit done. He went, yeah. I said, when's it happening? He went, oh, it probably won't be until we come back after Christmas. Now, why? I said, well, your dad's broke the brolly. He went, oh, how's he managed that? So I told him. I said, I didn't know when the new roof was coming. I said, so we may need a new brolly. I was like, oh. He says, tell you what, he says, phone the bloke up who was doing the roof. He says, and ask him how soon he'd be able to do it. I was like, okay. So I phoned him up and I asked him how soon he'd be able to do it. And I said, well, I need to get everything ordered. He says, so it'll probably be about 3 weeks. I says, right. I said, I'll let the main boss know. I said, not tell you what he says. So I went and saw the main boss again. And he says, right. He says, yeah, tell him, go ahead with it. He says, we'll get it in early. He says, before we get to the proper storm season. And he says, might as well get you some proper cover. I was like, sweet. So I phoned him up and told him to go ahead. So he's going to get that all sorted. So by rights, he should be going in this week. But I haven't heard anything. So I don't know whether it still is or not. But I'm hoping he does. Because then because the roof that we're having put in is 6 meters long. Well, wide, should I say. I don't know how long he's doing it, but it's going to be 6 meters wide. So that means that's going to put me well under cover for like when it's raining and when it's sunny, and so I can't wait for that to go in. So at the moment I'm using the broken umbrella, and I've got ropes tying it here, there and everywhere where it's tied to the, what do you call them, girders or whatever, the right girders for the shed. I've got them tied to that. I've got them tied to somebody else's saw. I've got it tied to part of our saw, so it just keeps it from spinning around and flopping everywhere. But when it gets really windy, it just blows around. So hopefully I should get some cover soon. We're meant to be having some new guys start as well. There's a possibility of 2. Anyway, new boss let me know that there was 1 new guy starting. I was like, okay. And he he never showed. Well, we think he may have showed. When we pulled up, there was a bloke in a car and he drove past work and was like looking in and then just carried on driving. So I'm assuming he was the new guy. And when I told the new boss I didn't show, he says, yeah, he said he'd already accepted a new job just before I phoned him. He says, but this one was closer for him. He says, so he's obviously weighing up which one's going to be better. I was like, alright. So we're still on the hunt for more new stuff, because the boss wants at least two new ones. One for the saw I'm working on, and one for my old saw. So, who knows if we're going to get anybody. I have a funny feeling it probably won't be till after Christmas now. Yeah, that's coming up soon as well. That's coming around a lot quicker than it needs to. They're already playing Christmas adverts on the TV over here and on the radio. It's like, we've only just gone to November. Shut up. It's too early. So we break up on I think it's the 19th of December. So, which is a Friday this year. And you get 3 weeks off. Now, normally what happens when we have time off is we save our holidays for obviously the end of the year, so we can still get paid. Now, normally what happens is if you've got more than 3 weeks holiday, they pay you all your holidays at Christmas time, which is normally good because you normally get paid like 4 weeks holiday. But this year, apparently, the Office of Fair Workers or whatever have changed it. So now we will only get 3 weeks of our holidays instead of the 4. I was like, well, how's that going to work then? I said, so does the other week roll over? Because normally we can't roll over any holidays. They went, yeah, now the last week gets rolled over. And then once you've accumulated 4 years, you can then request to be paid out for 2 weeks. 4 years, 4 weeks. So once you've accumulated 4 weeks, so that's 4 years work, you can then cash out 2 weeks holiday. And it's like, what? I was like, oh, that's not fair. So yeah, the Office of Fair Work or whatever it's called, have decided that. But then, as I mentioned in my update video, well, by the time you're seeing this one, I will have already had it done. I'm having the first part of the procedure done, which is taking the cells out of my knee. And she asked how long I needed off. I says, from what I read online, it's just 24 hours. She says, so you may not be in the next day then. I says, I won't know for definite. I says, until I've had it done. So I'll put you down as there's a possibility you're not going to be on the Wednesday as well. I went, okay. And then I was telling her like the next part of the procedure should be around about Christmas time. So she says, so if that happens at Christmas time, she says, you won't get paid your holiday pay. I went, what? She says, because you'll be on the work insurance. She says, so you won't get your holiday pay. She says, you'll only get like what you get paid from the insurance company, which is, I think it's like 95% or 93% of your wages. So I won't even be getting full wage. I was like, seriously? She went, yeah. She says, because you'll be classed as being on sick. But it depends when they're doing the second part, whether they're going to try and get it done just before Christmas or if it'll be after Christmas. So I'm hoping it's after Christmas. But because I took 1 day off this year, it also means that I won't have accumulated 4 weeks holiday. I will be 1 day short, so I can't even ask them to pay me out 2 weeks holidays. I was like, seriously? So, I don't know, it's like where you are, but when you get your holiday pay, he gets a 17% loading as well, so you get more money. So I'm going to miss out on that as well. And that normally comes in handy for Christmas, obviously, if you're buying your presents and your Christmas food shop and all that lot. And all the other guys in the shed are only going to get paid 3 weeks anyway, because we had the cyclone come through. And when that came through, work was down for a week because it had no power. so they had to use the holiday days to get paid. So everybody else has only got 3 weeks left anyway. So yeah, so I'm hoping when I go and get this part done, they say that the next procedure won't be till after Christmas. So then I can at least get at least 1 or 2 weeks of holiday pay. In effect, I'm hoping that they do get it done before we break up for Christmas, because apparently I've got to have 4 weeks worth of physio. So I'm not allowed to move there. Words today. I'm not allowed to use my arm for the first week, and then the second week I'm only allowed to do light stuff. And the third week I can do a little bit more heavier stuff, I think. I'll use it a bit more often, and then it's not until after 4 weeks that I can use it fully. So I'm hoping they get it done before Christmas, because then by the time Christmas is over, I'll be able to use my arm fully again and go back to full-time work. But if they don't, then that means, well, again, depending when they put it back in, I may have to take another week off work after Christmas, or I'll be on light duties. So we will see. All fun and games. But yeah, that took a long time to get sorted out. It took nearly a year. It's been nearly a year since I tore my muscles. So it's taken nearly a year to get sorted out. So my appointment is at like 1 o'clock on Tuesday, or yesterday as you're watching this. And I said to him, I said, am I allowed to drive, or do I need someone to bring me? She said, no, you're going to have to get someone to bring you. She says, because of like the sedation. I was like, right. So I've had to ask Shane's dad if he can take me. So he's going to pick me up from work and take me. And then I've got to be there for, what did I say, 4 hours? I think it's up to 4 hours before I'm allowed to go home, because they need to check on me and all this lot. And I was like, great. That takes us past when we would normally finish work. So Shane's sister works on a Tuesday as well. So I know she wouldn't want to hang around for a couple of hours. So they've organised now for her husband to come and pick her up from work, and then Shane's going to wait at his mum and dad's until I'm ready to be picked up, because it's going to be about between 4 and 5 o'clock when I'm going to be ready to be picked up, apparently. So yeah, all fun and games. So from where I've read online, it's just a needle in your knee, from what I understand. And then they just, I don't know what they use to extract your cells and what have you. But it does say that they may need to cut your knee, or a bit of your knee, to get to where they need to. So I have no idea. Well, I learned it's only like a small incision or something like that. So it should be interesting. It was my brother's birthday. Wednesday just gone. He turned 50, the old beggar. Now originally they'd planned to, him and some of his mates, I think there was about 12 of them all together, had planned that they were going to go on holiday together. I can't remember where he said they was going, Benidorm or something like that, I can't remember. And all their other halves won't allow him, because obviously it's near at Christmas as well. But yeah, their other halves won't allow him to go on holiday, on a boys' holiday. So he's not doing that now. So it turned out it was just him and his mate. We're going on, it's called a Dutch Dash, which is you go over to Amsterdam for the day. So you go on the ferry, like on the Friday night, you get there Saturday morning, then you spend the day in Amsterdam, and then you come back on the Saturday night to arrive back in the UK Sunday morning, or something like that. I've done it before, once. It's alright. It's an alright day trip. Well, kind of like a day trip. So yeah, he was doing that. But when I spoke to my mum last week, apparently he's not doing it now. So I don't know if he still is or if she's just got things mixed up. I have no idea. So mum's doing well. She's actually doing her bathroom now. So I think I told you she's already had the stair lift put in. So it's not been used since I put it in. But yeah, they started knocking out the bathroom on Thursday. I got a message from my brother saying someone's been and stole your bathroom. Oh, great. So yeah. So all my bathroom is gone. It says they've taken everything out the bathroom, literally everything, tiles, floor, everything. The bathroom looks so small. Am I still in shot? I'm egg. Sorry guys. So yeah, the bathroom looks so small. So apparently they were coming on the Friday to sort the electrics out because you've got an extractor fan in the bathroom for obviously pulling out the steam and that, but where the switch or something for it is will be in the shower, so they need to move it. So that's getting moved. And then I think they need to move some plumbing around or something as well. I'm not 100% sure, I can't remember what my brother said now. So yeah, so the new shower should be in. Oh, that's right. Yeah, they had to come and move some water pipes around for the new taps and the drainage and stuff like that. So, and then they was putting the shower tray part in. So I don't know when it's all meant to be finished. I think it's meant to be finished by the end of this week. So my brother's organised for my mum's bed to be taken upstairs, so that gets done. And that's in 2 weeks, I think. Something like that, I think that's what he said. So yeah, so my mum will then be back upstairs. So she'll be happy about that. I'm not happy about that because I still don't like the way that the stair lift is. But not much I can do about it. So hopefully all goes well. So I should be back upstairs soon. And that means that they can get the sitting room back to a sitting room instead of a downstairs bedroom. I've been stitching for half an hour. Thought it was longer than that. So I mentioned before as well that my mum was due to get some dentures. So I come to a couple of days before she was due to go for her appointment for her impressions. And my elder brother was saying, I'm not taking her, he says, if she's not going to wear them. He says, because if she's not going to wear them, he says, it's pointless. Because I think they had to pay for the dentures, I'm not 100% sure. He says, it's pointless taking her. He says, if she's not going to wear them. And I was like, right. He says, so him and my other brother asked her if she was going to wear her dentures, if she got them. She went, well, I don't know. She says, because I've not got them, so I don't know what they're going to feel like. So they're like, right, fair enough, you're not going for them then. I was like, well, that was nice of them. So, yeah, so she was hoping to get some new teeth. And now she's not getting them. I mean, I don't see what the problem with my brothers are, because they're not paying for it anyway. It comes out of my mum's money. So she's paying for it. So yeah, bless her. So she gets to miss out on having some new teeth. Well then, I got a message off one of my brothers. So apparently, the chimney on the house is leaking. Now, with my house, because it's a terrace house, means that the chimney serves two houses. So both houses are connected to the chimney. So next door, I think it's their side, because they said it's getting really bad on their side, and he's having to get the humidifiers and stuff like that in. So he's had somebody out to have a look at the chimney, and they're on about removing the chimney and just filling the roof in, because no one really uses coal fires over in the UK anymore. Everybody has like central heating, so, and either gas or combi boilers. So he says, yeah, he says, so they've agreed that I'm going to pay half to have this chimney removed. I went, I am, Mama. They went, yeah. I was like, and how much is that going to cost? £1,000. Oh, only £1,000. Yeah, I pulled that out my butt because I've got that stuck around, you know. I says, you know, I have this certain thing on my house. It's called house insurance. I says, go through them, get them out, and they'll either say, yeah, remove the chimney, or they can fix it. And I says, and I'm assuming the other bloke will have insurance on his as well, because his is a rental. Yeah, but it's going to cost too much going through the insurance. No, it's not. It's just going to cost my excess. And I'm pretty sure the excess on my home insurance is not that high. I said, so just go through the home insurance. No, we've decided we're having it taken off, so you need to pay £1,000. So, well, I'm not paying £1,000, so you can stick that up your butts. But yeah, I mean, to say it's not their house, why would they agree that I will go half on paying for the chimney to be removed? It's like, because it's not happening. And my twin brother was like, well, I've got the money, I'll pay for it, and then you just give me the money back. Nope. You're living there, I'm not. You don't want to pay for it, you pay for it. So, I've not heard any more, so I don't know what they're doing. I'm assuming they'll contact me when it comes to time for it to be removed or whatever. But I mean, the number of times I've said to my brother, there's insurance on the home for it's buildings and contents insurance. So if anything breaks or whatever, get in touch with the insurance people. But he just doesn't seem to want to get in touch with the insurance people. That's what I pay the insurance for. I missed marking a reel off. Let me just mark this reel off, so then I know where I'm up to. Yeah, I'll tell you, sometimes my brothers, I don't think they've got two brain cells to work together sometimes. So yesterday, so Friday, just gone, I had to go for my medical. So it's like a health assessment or something like that, they call it. So I went there, and the bloke takes me into the room. He says, so we're doing what did he call it? A care package for you. I went, eh? I said, yeah, we're doing a care package for you. I was like, okay, I thought it was just a health assessment. No, we're doing a care package, okay. So I had to answer a couple of questions. I says, right, that's it. I says, well, okay. He says, does the doctor want to see you? I went, yeah, she said to see her after. I went, all right, well, just go to her room. Anyway, she wasn't there. I says, she's not there, so do you just want to wait back in the waiting room? He went, oh, yeah, you can do. Anyway, literally about a minute later, I get called back in again. And it was my doctor. He says, yep, you're going back in this room again. She says, they're doing the wrong thing. So you're meant to be getting a health assessment, not a care package. I says, well, I did say that to him, but she says, yeah, just go back in there and we'll do the correct procedure this time. She says, then I'll see you afterwards. I was like, okay. Back in there doing the health assessment and taking my blood pressure and all that lot and seeing what medication I'm on and go and see the doctor. So yeah, so as far as I'm aware, my blood pressure and that was all okay, which is good. So I'm all set for Tuesday. And then, as I've mentioned a couple of times, I've had this persistent cough that I just could not get rid of. So I had a chest x-ray the other week. That came back all clear. And she says, you still got this cough? I went, yes. I said, it doesn't want to leave me. She went, right. She says, we'll send you for a CT scan. I was like, okay. So I went for my CT scan, and it was a CT scan with contrast. She says, and then when you come back to see me in a couple of weeks, she said, I'll have your results and what have you. Well, okay. So anyway, obviously you have your CT scan and then everything goes fine. And so my cough's practically gone now, so I think he just wanted to linger around. So when I was there yesterday, I said, did you get my CT results back? She went, yeah. She says, your chest is all fine. She says, all clear, there's nothing to worry about there. She says, but at least now we've got it on record of last time you had it checked, so if anything does start happening, she says, we can say, well, as of this date it was perfectly fine. So then they've got a timeline for if anything goes wrong further down the line. I was like, okay, fair enough. So yeah, so come back all clear. We had some really, really good storms the other last week. So, not last week, the weekend before. So it's been pretty warm the other week. So it was, so not Friday, just gone the Friday before. They said there were possibility of storm, maybe severe. Anyway, we got a storm on Friday, but it was nothing to write home about. Anyway, and then they said that there was possibility of severe storms on Saturday. Well, Saturday, we had storms nearly all day. They weren't severe, plenty of lightning and thunder. I think we had maybe about an hour's worth of sunshine. But yeah, that went all the way through the night. And then Sunday we had rain, and then more storms. Again, possibly severe, but that one, depending where you lived, turned out to be a severe one, but we missed the main bulk of it. So, yeah, it got a fair bit of storms, but it was good. I like watching the storms. Even Tiger was sat outside watching the storms. Him and Shane. Whenever there's a storm, they're always sat out there. Tiger's the only cat I know who likes watching storms. Unless he gets really close and you get the really big bangs, then he's off. But if it's just like your normal thunder and lightning that's like at a distance or whatever, he sits there and watches it all with Shane. It's quite funny to watch. Kitty and Ginge didn't. They were gone. They were hiding. Well, yeah, I say there was like a light show going off in the sky. There was like two storms that came together, so there was lightning coming from one direction and then coming from another direction. It was great. And Shane's like, I've never seen so many storms in one time. He says, you know, over like 3 days, I think there must have been about 8 storms going off. He says, I've never seen so many storms. He says, normally you get like one good storm and then that's it for a week or so. And well, I say it is the storm season now, start of storm season, so we're probably going to get a lot more storms, which I do not mind. We're apparently meant to get one today, actually. Possibly severe again. So this one's coming up from New South Wales. So we'll see what happens with that one. Yeah, you can't beat a good storm. That's it for when you're trying to go to sleep and the storm goes off. But yeah, I was asleep on Saturday and there was a crack of lightning and it sounded like it hit in our yard somewhere. It was loud as anything. I jumped out of my skin, Shane jumped out of his skin, the cats just disappeared. I was like, holy crap, that one was close. So yeah, I think it either hit, well, I can't see any mark on the ground, but yeah, it either hit in our yard or just over the fence, I think. Oh boy, was that one loud. Now when we were in our first house over here in Bow Desert, that house had a big tree in the paddock, and that one got struck by lightning, and that was like the same loudness. And Shane says, was that how loud that one was? I went, yeah. I says, and you slept through it. I can't believe it when he slept through that one. But yeah, not this time. This one woke him up. I'm going to finish this string off and then we should be about an hour. So Jen will be happy this week. She's got 2 videos. That's extra stitching on her crazy idea thing she's doing. I can't remember what it's called now. The floss tuber thing. I've been trying to figure out what plans I want to do for next year and I can't think of any. And I'm going to have London as a main focus piece for next year. So I want to try and see if I can maybe get that one finished. Says I'm really enjoying that one, so it'll be that one and Supersized Tiger Family, but that's about as much as I've worked out what I want to do. If I continue with the temperature stitching, I don't know, I'm going to work that one. Because obviously my full rotation. Well, all my projects will be next year. So I don't know. I'm going to work if I continue doing the temperature stitching, because I don't mind doing that one. So I don't know whether just to select a couple of projects and just work on them all year, or what. I'm not sure. I mean, there is potential to get a lot of stitching done on certain projects by doing that way. Or do I just, like I have done now, just like pick projects, and then if they come up on for working as well, then they'll just get extra work? I don't know. If you've got any ideas of what we can do for next year, let me know. Three. Hopefully I can get to the end of this row, because that would be the perfect place to stop. I should be able to. I think I've got enough. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, easy. Right, knock these off, and then see what we'll do. Oh, can I get 7 more stitches? I don't think so. No, definitely can't. Damn it. I was hoping to get 7 more stitches. I've got 193 stitches done. I'm trying to get to 200. $96. I think that's about as far as. Oh no, I'm not going to get 4, but I'm probably going to get 1 or 2 more, maybe. Or not. Anyway. The string's starting to fray. No, I don't think I'm going to make it. Nope. I won't. Okay, we're going to call it a day there then, guys. So we got a total of 197 stitches, which takes me now to 33.56%. So again, if you do have any questions or comments, feel free to drop those down below. You can email me. Email address, as always, is dizzystitcher@gmail.com, or I am on Instagram @dizzystitcher. You can message me on there as well. So let's zoom back out. Yeah, there we go. It's coming along. It's getting there, slowly. It's looking good. So that's it from me then, guys. So again, thank you very much for watching. It's so much appreciated. Until my next video, which will probably be my update video next weekend. Take care, stay safe, happy stitching, and bye bye for now.